As the world's most, normal anime fan, I've experienced an overwhelming amount of down bad energy. From the depths of Tartarus in the My Hero fandom to the trenches of the Genshin Impact fandom, I've seen it all. Unfortunately. I'd like to think that made me Earth's strongest soldier, but unfortunately my one weakness is tall women with swords. And Grand Blue Fantasy has a few of them. But amongst all of the tall lady knights, Katalina stands proud as the greatest, most beautiful lady knight in Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Since she's the only one in Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, I'm addicted to this game, so here's a video on how to play and build Katalina, where I'm gonna go in depth on her kit and strongest builds for current and future content. My name is Brax Alter, and let's talk about Katalina. Katalina is super versatile and has a ton of great skills to choose from, so turn the shower on because we're about to get sweaty. Katalina has 8 beautiful abilities that you will only use 4 of at a time. But before I tell you about those, I need to tell you about the God of War that's not actually a god at all, but a cool Mountain Dew Baja Blast looking summon. Ares is basically a follow-up attacking summon that Katalina gets whenever she uses a combo after reaching full gauge. Increasing gauge is usually pretty expensive, but we're playing a video game. To get full gauge, you have 6 options, but you actually only have 3. There are plenty of combos that you can do, but the one that I use is attack special, attack, 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 special, attack, special, attack, 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 special, but you can also use attack, attack, special, attack, attack, special, attack, attack, special, attack, attack, special, which sounds complicated, but you're actually just hitting the same button a few times in a row. Oh, and by the way, attack is your X or square button, and the special is your Y or triangle button if you're on controller. Combo finishers are going to be how you generate a ton of gauge. Link attacks also can generate a ton of gauge, and you never want to miss one. Now, there's technically an even faster way, but the only ones who will have time to actually learn it are people who don't go outside. So I'm going to teach you guys how to do it. Attack Special is a quick combo that generates a small amount of gauge, and if you're just a little short, it's amazing in a pinch and to quickly start combos. Basically, you just use your Attack Special combo, which is the quickest attack that generates gauge, and if you activate a damaging skill, you can follow it up with a combo finisher. But if you use Enchanted Lands or Winter's Reign, which are skills I'll go over after this, and dodge right after casting them, you can continue your combo finisher without having the skill go on cooldown, which results in very quick Ares gauge generation. You can also use Frozen Blade to quickly combo afterwards, and that's fine as well. The TLDR of Katalina's combos is that if you want the best for your queen, you'd better learn some cheeky shit. Abuse those combo finishers because they're incredibly strong. So go forth and unlearn button mashing. When you have Ares up, you massively increase your damage output. You'll receive more follow-ups from Ares than people calling about your car's extended warranty. You want as much Ares uptime as possible, which can be artificially extended using combo finishers, Ares packed strikes, link attacks, skybound arts, and skills. Before you summon Ares though, make sure to learn the acronym DGTN, which stands for everything that will immediately kill Ares. Those things are dodging, guarding, taking too long to attack, not doing anything, getting knocked back, getting knocked up, getting knocked back again but because of overdrive, and combat cutscenes. Something that won't kill Ares though are skills and combos. Now here's where we get to actually talk about her skills. Katalina has 4 skills that can trigger a combo finisher, and those skills combined with the finisher itself can help you keep Ares out of her Pokeball. Those 4 skills are Frozen Blade, Enchanted Lands, Winter's Reign, and Azure Sword. Frozen Blade is a ranged attack where Katalina pulls out a Glock with 2 bullets. You don't have to shoot both at the same time, you can just use one to keep Ares up, it's totally fine. Enchanted Lands is a melee gap closer that brings Katalina closer to the target and actually has the highest damage cap of all of her skills. It's actually about double the damage over a fight of her other skills. You'll end up spamming it since its cooldown is shorter than Cagliostro. Winter's Reign is a melee combo with Ares that can deal decent damage and can be animation cancelled. But the most important part is it looks really cool. And Azure Sword is an ability that deals damage on cast and gives you 15 seconds of Ares uptime regardless of your gauge or if you cancel Ares. Of those 4 abilities, you'll probably only take 3 of them. Now after playing Katalina an ungodly amount of times, in my experience, I like to take Azure Sword for the instant and long uptime on Ares, Frozen Blade to keep Ares up, and Enchanted Lands since it's the highest damage and for gap close and the short cooldown. You basically always want Enchanted Lands no matter what. But with that said, Winter's Reign is a solid damage ability and can be used for style points and for keeping more Ares uptime. As long as you have a proper build, you can keep up Ares during 100% of any damage window by rotating through damaging abilities. As you can see in this video, Katalina can become a literal walking Pokemon Center. The other abilities you have for Katalina are supporting skills. One is a heal, one is a defense and stout heart buff, one is an invincibility, and one is a freezing ability. None of the content in the game is hard enough to be worth bringing a ton of support skills as of making this video, but when Lucilius comes out and bends us over, you'll probably end up needing some support skill in the 4th slot that can benefit the team. Or maybe you'll just chat him, I don't know. Light Wall, her invincibility, is by far the most annoying one to use, since it has a low duration and takes forever to actually cast it. But it can be useful when you're comfortable comfortable enough with the fight to know when to cast it. In the eyes of your teammates, against bosses with crazy raid-wide damage and AoEs coming out, you're gonna be an actual fucking Giga Chad. Emerald Shield is actually a pretty decent support ability, because heal will usually stop being useful once other people start using Potion Hoarder sigils, and Emerald Shield basically makes you stop getting one-shot and interrupted by attacks. Between the two, Light Wall is better if you know the fight in my opinion, and Emerald Shield is better for when you have skill issue. But with that said, Sacred Winds is the best of the filler abilities if you have a team that actually does damage, because you can use it to skip entire phases of boss fights when timed right. I used it against basically everything but Vulcan Bola, and it is a game changer. Just make sure they get frozen right before their mode bar switches, and you'll be even more solid than a gacha player's coping mechanisms. The TLDR of all of this is get Ares Gauge, complete Pack Strike and combo finisher, use a skill, complete Pack Strike and combo finisher again, rinse and repeat forever until the boss dies. When Lucilius comes out, you may need to think about building Catalina's abilities as more of a support, but realistically, you'll probably just want to bully your friend into playing Vayne, because there's nothing worse than a Lady Knight not doing maximum damage, and no, I'm not just saying that because she's hot and I main her. Two more things. Since Pack Strike and the combo finisher for Ares dish out a ton of damage on the uplifted and downward strikes, if you get a chance to link attack and Ares is out while you're in that portion of the combo, if you can, you want to finish that downward strike before link attacking to max out the damage. After link attacking, you can immediately start a combo again without another ability, so it almost counts as a free skill use for keeping up Ares, and after a while, you'll just get used to the timing. The other thing is that when you use her Skybound art, you want to make sure that Ares is active, because that way you can unlock the secret sex cutscene. And by sex, I mean big damage. You get really big damage, it's great. So now that you basically have a college degree and an assortment of pixels, let me explain her best sigil and weapon setup. I'm gonna yap a couple minutes about sigils, and then I'll show you an actual build at the end, but I highly recommend you watch this, and if you need help paying attention, pull up another tab with Subway Surfers gameplay or something. First off, the Terminus weapon, as of making this video, is the best. If Lucilius comes out with a new weapon, that may overtake it, and I'll let you know if that happens in the pinned comment. But for now, Terminus is too hard to beat with its massive damage cap increase. The other weapon looks cooler though, so awaken that anyways. There's a ton of different ways to hit damage caps with Katalina. Remember that anything could be a bomb if you're creative enough, but that's not always the same as hitting maximum damage output. First off, let's talk about Catalina's character sigils. 50% of them are good, 100% of the time. The Guardian's Honor sigil is good in that its cooldown reduction can help Ares stay up, is what I would say if I was lying to you, because it only reduces your cooldowns when you activate Ares in the first place. So basically, at best, it's 5% cooldown reduction, and at worst, it's more useless than a used wet napkin. Since you're not going to unsummon and resummon Ares over and over, the sigil just is not worth the slot. With just Cascade and quick cooldown sigils, you won't have any issues keeping up Ares. Personally, I have not been lucky enough to get one just yet, but if you can get a Guardian's Conviction with damage cap, stamina, tyranny, combo booster, or skilled assault on it, that would be ideal. Guardian's Conviction is a huge portion of Catalina's damage, because it gives you 10% supplementary damage and 15% extra damage cap, meaning that you're able to push both your max hit and also your overall damage dealt by a significant amount. By the end of your build, you'll want to max out damage cap, which is about 4 sigils and a fully awakened Ascension or Terminus weapon. Unless you're actually just God, in which case you'll have a Right Stone that gives you +7 and +5 damage cap, but I'm pretty sure that's never happened in the history of this video game. For your other main sigils, you want to make sure that you have one crit rate maxed out so you can hit 100% crit rate with a good Right Stone and Overmastery, which I'll talk about in a bit. War Elemental is a staple for basically every character, and if you're not using it, you're probably just not lucky enough to have it, which is definitely a skill issue. You also want to have a skilled Assault, since it's the main damage increase for Enchanted Lands, which does so much damage that it wants a sigil dedicated to it. The other important stat to have is at least 1 supplementary damage, which again, if you don't have, is a skill issue, and you might honestly just be really bad at the game. Other great damage sigils on Katalina are your standard stamina and tyranny, and combo booster is actually amazing with her because her supplementary damage and Ares uptime can basically ensure you're almost always getting max value. As for supporting sigils and secondary stats, you want to make sure that you have at least 1 quick cooldown and 1 cascade to keep the skills rolling on Katalina and not lose Ares. With that said though, getting a couple quick cooldowns will definitely be more comfy than just 1. Since Ares can be cancelled by literally a slight gust of wind, Stout Heart can be an insanely powerful sigil since it can prevent you from having your combos canceled. You do get some super armor at certain points from your attacks, but Stout Heart makes you able to face tank a lot more and not lose Ares. But then, if you're face tanking damage, using Drain is also super useful to make sure you don't just insta-die. Cool fun fact about Drain that not a lot of people know about, but supplementary damage can actually proc Drain. And because Guardian's Conviction and supplementary damage sigils are different instances of damage, Katalina can heal a ton from Drain. And then, as always, Potion Hoarder and Guts are great, and though Auto Revive is slow, it can actually be pretty helpful. So let's break it down. In an ideal world where you can just pick whatever sigils you want, the best build would have at least 4 damage cap effects, a combo booster, stamina, and tyranny. A combo of those will get you to damage cap on everything but your Skybound art and enchanted lands. So you're basically good for damage, or at least for most of your kit. Then you want skilled assault, a guardian's conviction, supplementary damage, war elemental, a crit rate, 1 to 2 quick cooldowns, 1 cascade, a potion hoarder, or a stout heart and drain, and basically any other stats that you can fill in. I know I just named like 17 sigil effects, but keep in mind that sigils can have multiple effects, so this is a very endgame build and an ideal. Here's a couple visuals that show optimized Katalina builds. There are an insane amount of permutations for this based on your RNG, but if you get unlucky, then that is a skill issue. And then here is my current Katalina build for reference. As you can see, I don't have skill issue. Actually, I'm missing quite a bit. But even then, my damage is pretty dang good, so, you know, lead by example or whatever. I've hit most damage caps outside of enchanted lands. Anything beyond what I've got right now is honestly min-maxing and reaching for the perfect build, which you don't even really need to do a lot of damage. But I thought I would just show you on those visuals what that looks like. When Lucilius comes, so will I, but depending on the fight's difficulty, it may be worth running an Aegis sigil. Only time will tell. If you have to give up something for tankiness, I'd recommend dropping one of your supplementary damage sigils, since only having one will be enough to get all of the extra effects out of it. Now, while we're on the topic of stats, let me show you what you'll be save scumming for the next few months. The ideal overmastery for Katalina is crit rate, normal attack cap, skill damage up, and attack power. Crit rate lets you run one single crit rate sigil and hit max crit rate with a fully invested weapon. Normal attack cap will increase your damage potential, skill damage will allow you to get closer to the damage cap for enchanted lands, and attack power will help your enchanted lands and SBA deal more damage. With that said though, attack power can be substituted for Skybound art damage, skill damage cap, stun power, and Skybound art damage cap. But the main two that you need no matter what are going to be crit rate and normal attack cap. If you're a gacha player, you're definitely used to rerolling, and you can do that by save scumming your overmasteries. By saving, using all of your mastery points, resetting, clearing a mission, and trying again, you can basically keep pulling lotto numbers until you win. But to give you an example of how tough this is, I've done over 2,000 overmastery pulls, and I still have not seen a fully maxed star Katalina overmastery. So as you can see, mine isn't maxed, but it's the best I've gotten so far, and it's massively helped my DPS. Can you imagine a world where you don't have to stack up Katalina's gauge for Ares? Yeah, well, me neither. But some players actually figured out how to do it. All you have to do is learn this really complicated tech that's really hard to get. By interrupting your combo at the right time and immediately starting a combo with Ares again, you can stop her from abandoning you like my dad did. Huge credit and thanks for the clips showcasing this tech to Kang Khan. Their YouTube channel is in the description. Basically, you just drop your combo during pack strike and immediately restart with a quick combo to keep Ares out. The best time to stop it is on the upswing for the pack strike, since it does the most damage while letting you keep up Ares. If you're doing this though, you will basically need to run Stout Heart, because otherwise you're just gonna get gut punched and Ares is gonna run away forever. There are about 10,000 other things I could teach you about Katalina, but if I go too long without playing her, I suffer withdrawals. So that's all for the video. If you want to learn more, check out the link in the description to the Ultimate Katalina Guide, which helped me out massively with the data in this video. This is my first, really giga serious Grand Blue Fantasy Relink video, so if you enjoyed, please make sure to share, like it, subscribe to the channel, etc., because I really want this thing to go far. And if you're interested, come watch me on Twitch, because I'm going for World's First on Lucilius, and let me know what Katalina color is best and why it's Goth Katalina.